Hello everyone, Random Gamer Riven here, and welcome to the midweek stream on behalf of Randomised Gaming. And in today's stream, we're going to be doing another slightly quirkier title in Space Hulk: Vengeance of the Blood Angels. This is in fact the sequel to the original Space Hulk released on PC and Amiga. It's actually a very faithful recreation of Games Workshop's Space Hulk board game, which we do have the mid-90s version of it, which it isn't cult iconic board game. Basically this is based on the original version, the rules. Now this Saturn version is interesting because it was a port of the 3DO version, and not a great port. The 3DO version does have some extras. Noticeably, you can't equip your Terminators loadouts in this version, which is a huge annoyance because it means very few missions can you ever use Thunderhammer and Storm Shields. There's Thunder Storm Shields and Lightning Claws or Assault Cannons. That was just a massive oversight, I think, by the developers. The original game did allow you to equip your Terminators how you want, but for some reason it's missing in some of the home ports of this one. So the 3DO version and probably the PC version are probably the best versions of this one. This was originally released in 1995, I believe. I'm not sure whether the 3DO PC version came first. The Saturn version was released in 1996. It was originally published by a studio called Key Games, who I believe were part of EA. I'm not entirely sure. There's very little information on them. However, this version was ported by Krisalis Games for the Sega Saturn version. Krisalis had previously done Amiga. And of course, the game was published by Electronic Arts, who at the time did both the Electronic Arts published and basically I think produced both these games. They are really, really good and show you what Electronic Arts can do when they're in their right mindset. I mean, these are really so close to the board game. It's just phenomenal. And it works out really well. So this is, I'm not in the story mode at the minute, I'm actually in the base mode, the library, where you can go through historical missions. So you get training missions, you get Space Hulk original missions. These are actually taken from the board game. You then get classic missions. I don't know if these are classic ones from the original game. The original Space Hulk game had I think about 50 missions, although I know the PC CD-ROM version that was later released had even more. And then you get famous missions, and these are full-on campaigns for each. So on top of the story campaign, you actually have in the region of roughly, I mean, I think the boxes mention how many missions you've got. Over 60 missions. And yeah, this game is packed full of missions from all sorts. It really is a... So I'll actually give you a quick example test tip. One of the... But just let the breaking. Basically, nice simple mission. We've got to close the doors. Now you have two forms of controls. You can directly control your Terminators. You can also have an Overwatch sort of command menu where you can order them around as well.
Keep alert, brothers.
And if I press X, that gives me time to actually order the Terminators about. So I'm going to tell Mala to go there, and I'll swap to Bethel, and I'll take manual control of Bethel, and hopefully I think Samael will shoot down the other the Gene Stealers before they get there. So this is a nice simple mission. As you see, they're direct control.
Objective met.
And a nice simple mission with you just got to literally control the doors, but as you shut the doors you stop the Gene Stealers spawning. But you can also take manual control as well. In fact, I can tell Bethor to move there, and then I can also tell him to shut the door, and then I can actually literally take control via the overview menu.
Overwatch. Seal this door.
Okay, sealing the doors can be a little bit problematic, but basically that's the Overwatch menu.
MIL.
MIL, let's tell MIL. I think that's all the Gene Stealers we're actually going to face on this mission. It really is quite a...
Bethor!
And we'll get Brother Bethor too. So of course this is based on Warhammer 40,000, which of course a Games Workshop licensed property, a well-known battle war game, and in turn it was a spin-off of the fantasy Warhammer war game. Interestingly, I noticed this one does actually have a few changes to actually the Games Workshop brand, which is interesting in terms of some of the designs are slightly different on the Terminators, and I suspect there may be a reason for that. Some of the actual icons that you normally see are definitely different in this one. Now, I believe these are modelled on the early Rogue Tradal variant design Terminators, not the sort of mid-90s ones, so they look a teeny bit off.
You have succeeded.
They look more like the older Terminators rather than the newer sort of mid-90s ones. I should say I do collect Warhammer, or did collect Warhammer. I collected 40,000. I don't really collect it, but one of the guys in one of the other members of the randomised gaming is still a huge Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 fan. He hasn't played them, but he's collected a huge assortment of them. So select a mission again. You can literally, annoyingly, the select a mission menu takes you back here. I'll show you a slightly more complex mission. I'm also going to do a quick test study here. Here we've got a mission where we have to defend a location. This is about all the music you get. Notably in the 3DO version you actually had the map had like a sort of a radar sweep going around it here, and this menu was supposed to be transparent, but sadly isn't in the Saturn's version.
Here are your objectives. Prevent enemy contact here. Survive for 5 minutes.
Interestingly, I'm about to do a little test experiment for Hertz. So let's jump into this one. I'm about 90% sure we've mistakenly put this as unoptimized, and we think now it was actually built for 50 Hertz because this game was actually UK based developed, and the timing is what we're interested in. So
Ezekiel.
okay, so
Azrael. Sergio.
So I'm going to manually take control of these chaps. And that's what happens when one sneaks up behind you and you... One of the things in close combat in this is a bit hit and miss. It's really about timing and learning how to parry correctly, so... I'll leave Gabriel there as he's controlling that gate at the minute. Basically, if you want to be a good Terminator, you need to make sure you contain the Gene Stealers. Okay, that was close combat. That was just basically B to parry, A to attack in close combat. But when you parry is key. Once you understand exactly the frames of animation you need to parry on, you can become an absolute monster in close combat. Until you do, you're going to lose a lot of people.
There are hundreds of them! Marcus. Ezekiel.
Okay, so these flamethrower guys have very, very limited ammunition. So really they're designed for suppression, to take out multiple gene stealers at once, or to block a pathway for a little bit. So just put him in a corner there because he's not going to be much. Let's pull Azrael back. Bit of a close shave there.
Glory.
Now, this is, as people said before, an incredibly intense game. It's one of the best atmospheric games. And I think it's probably better than the more recent sort of Space Hulk games, because it's still very... This one sticks very closely to the board game, so still has the right amount of tension and danger. It's still incredibly atmospheric. Got that one, close combat. Basically, A, attack in close combat, and...
They are my death.
Take the heat off him for a bit by blocking that path.
Honor to us all. Lioness's primer is nearly exhausted. Ezekiel.
And that's nearly the 5 minutes defended. Something down there just to stop the gene stealers coming down.
Your mission was a complete success.
And there we go with a full defense. Okay, let's give this mission a shot. I'll jump into the story campaign in a bit, but before I jump into the story campaign, I'll just do a few of the missions from the library is there's so many, and plus these are probably some of the hardest missions in the game as well. They start off easy with the training, but they later go into some of the harder missions. So I've actually got chain swords on some of these guys. I think the power sword, it's impossible. So I'm actually going to send Octavius here.
Proceed to this area. Antonius.
Send Antonius down here.
Caliban.
Send Caliban to here.
Claudius.
Send Claudius to... Let's have him check out this room.
Adonai.
Let's have Adonai check out this sector.
Advance to this room. Octavius. Antonius.
Now what I'm looking for is the objective TNT, because often this game's a bit cheeky, it won't actually give you the objective items that you need.
Justice.
That's mean we are one Terminator down already as I fluffed the parry. Basically you have to press time the B button right to institute parry. If you time the parry right, now one thing I should explain is if you press X to bring up the command section, that blue bar beneath you, gotcha. As you see there, I parried the attack.
Don't let up. This is for Antonius.
See, they'll even call out the names of their fallen comrades. There's only so many, so...
There's Overwatch. I am fallen. Caliban. Octavius. The enemy. Caliban. Adonai.
So I'm still trying to find that TNT. None of the Terminators initially have. That's the one thing I will slightly gripe about this, is the fact that you'll often get objectives and it won't give you the supplies to complete the objective. Oh yeah, you got to scavenge it somewhere in the mission.
There is no end to them. Octavius. Adonai.
I think try that Donai. See if I can find it.
There's something ahead. This is for Claudius.
Although annoyingly, despite the fact that's a chainsaw, you only get the animation as if you hit them with a power fist.
I can see them. Vengeance shall be ours.
I can't find any sign of a TNT. It must be where Caliban is.
Stand your ground.
That very disconcerting heartbeat. Now, interestingly, it was actually a bit more of a heartbeat in the original 3DO version, but it does still give you a sense of tense because you don't. You don't know where the Gene Stealers are about. So the Gene Stealers are, of course, part of the Tyranid army in the Warhammer 40,000. And if you've ever used them, you'll know they are incredibly lightly armoured, but an absolute. These guys, there seems to be some sort of radar jamming, or they're popping out of vents in this one, so. Of course, the Gene Stealers, I suspect, may be loosely based on xenomorphs from the Alien. Gotcha. Ah, there's the TNT. We've not got a lot of time now to get to that objective. Gonna have to run. Doesn't mean you have to do a mission. We have to find the objectives and then you've got to get there. But as far as intense 3D action, see, every time you go over a blue pipe, that means you can get a Gene Stealer pop out on this stage. This stage, they're very, very cunning. Come on, I've got seconds left. Come on. Will I get there in time? Oh well, we ran out of time. But you can tell that once you know what you're doing, that missions like that are really straightforward on this. Do one of the other missions from the. Before I jump to the story mode, I'll do one last. That one actually chains. So we did actually have chainsaws on the arms. As you mentioned, the Terminal, for some reason, this Saturn's version doesn't have an equipment screen, so basically. What's the grand?
Here are your objectives. All surviving Terminators must move to this area.
All surviving Terminators must move to this area. This can be a nice, easy one with just a huge haul of Gene Stealers rushing us. I've got lightning claws.
Octavius. Antonio. Uriel. Proceed. Samael. Viconius. Antonius. Proceed to this area. Caliban.
Red time actually control
It's coming your way.
Terminator with lightning claws.
Claudius.
Let's put him there.
Adonai.
Let's put that one. I really want to get them.
Uriel. Viconius.
Let's get Viconius. Really, lightning claw terminators need to be sort of at the front because that way they need to be the ones that Saffron can go there. Malloc can go probably about there.
Octavius.
And Samuel are actually going to just unleash. Let's unleash a flaming battery, so this should turn the whole area into flop. So in this mission, I've probably hit one of my fellow Terminators there, yeah.
Save your ammunition, brothers.
Although fire doesn't actually damage Terminator armor, so these are Space Marines in what's effectively Terminator armor, so it's the heavier. Okay, let's tell him to go to.
Look, I'm out of ammunition.
Now, one thing I will say, that's supposed to be one of the guys with the flamers. They didn't obviously sort out a
To your right. Antonius, and to your right. Keep alert. We must prevail. Adonai. Uriel.
I lost one of the guys, that was annoying. I was hoping to try and save them all. Let's get Caliban. Claudius can go in as well.
Advance to this Uriel. And Caliban. Caliban, behind.
Going to try and ninja it up with some lightning core action, but oh well.
Your mission was a glorious victory.
I lost 2 of 10, so that's not bad. Although I probably shouldn't have lost either of them. I should have just ideally stuck to the manual controls, because it's getting the timing right for the close combat. I should have lost 3 Terminators. So let's actually take a look at the main campaign. And I'll start with a fresh game. So as you can see, it's very much structured like the board game. The stage design is exactly like the squares in the board game. The flamethrowers work exactly like they do in the board game. That they put 9 squares down and you can shoot multiple bursts. And they basically...
Brothers, I bring grave news. A gargantuan hulk has drifted out of the warp. Imperial records have little details on its history, but it seems to be made up of at least 50 smaller hulks merged together. The whole infrastructure dates back several millennia. It is moving fast and heading on a collision course for Delvar 3. Millions of lives there are at risk. The hulk must be stopped. Unfortunately, we cannot fusion bomb it. We do not have sufficient firepower locally. Our only option is to board the hulk and progress through the darkness and unknown. We must find a warp drive and throw the hulk back into the recesses of the warp. Brothers, it may cost you your lives, but your actions will be immortalized in the history of the Blood Angels. Time is short. Once you have boarded the hulk, establish a perimeter. There must be some archived records held somewhere. Retrieve any you find. Act with haste, brothers. Bless your weapons.
So I'll probably do a full-on video of this at some point showing all the various a selection of stages. It's actually, I mean, as far as 32-bit games go, it's actually a really...
Seal these doors. A power field generator must be positioned at this point. 2 Terminators must survive. All surviving Terminators must exit by this point. An archived record must be retrieved.
Now, interestingly, the Terminator you play as does actually change depending on...
Gabriel, proceed to this area. Gabriel, seal this door.
You see, that is quite an intense start to this story campaign.
Gabriel, follow. Back out.
We lost one of our fellow brothers.
Gabriel, search this area for an archived record.
Yes, if you wanted to do a really good playthrough, you could actually try and save every Terminator in the campaign.
Found an archived record. Gabriel, search this area for an archived record.
However, what was interesting is that the opening... Oh, we got an archive.
Gabriel, pick up this archived record.
It's actually a bit random which of your terminators will find the archive record, so...
Gabriel, take this archived record.
Yep, I've got the archive record.
Gabriel, advance to this room.
They actually use a power generator there to block
Gabriel, proceed to this area.
the gene stealers from coming through at this point as well. So I'm going to head this way. Now, these opening missions are basically a tutorial section. Once you escape the initial few, you get promoted to sergeant. Then you can able to sort of order the other terminators around and stuff. Initially, you just have to follow orders. Just save campaign standing. No, I think I'll be good for now.
We have taken the first step, brothers, but our mission has become much greater. We have encountered many terrible foes. We know not what further dangers we will have to deal with. The information we recovered was encrypted. If we are to use the information, we must locate an archived record viewer. We must push beyond our perimeter. Onward for the honor of the Blood Angels!
We'll jump into the next mission. So these early missions, as I mentioned, you're basically being ordered around, so you don't get 3 command. The later missions you do get 3 command.
Here are your objectives. All surviving Terminators must move to this area. An archived record viewer must be placed here. An archived record must be positioned at this point.
So I've got the archive record. Now you notice because
Gabriel, search this area for an archived record viewer.
because I lost the Terminator, I'm actually a Terminator down for this next mission.
I can't see an archived record viewer.
Which adds to the kind of suspense. Basically, the better you do in the campaign, the more Terminators you have. Although you are a bit at the, you are a bit of the mercy at random luck, because sometimes the other things will just get killed randomly. So there's not much you can.
Gabriel, the archived record. Here. My weapon's jammed. Gabriel, the archived record. Here. Gabriel, the archived record. Here.
Except they can keep telling me that, but I've got to go the long way around. I should have looked at the map. I thought. But it is a very much slow, methodical game in terms of how it plays. Now, one thing I have been doing is some little testing, because we were just debating if this is actually 50. Although we've got it down to 60, we think it might have been designed for 50, but basically forcing it to 60 doesn't necessarily have any ill effects other than it's probably running a bit too fast. Because what we noticed, here's a little bit of trivia, is that the Saturn version at 50 runs faster than the 3DO version. It's also smooth. It's very smooth at 50, and at 60 you're actually even quicker. I think at 60 it's a little bit too quick, if I'm being honest. Judging as fact this was designed for basically Games Workshop, primarily a UK vendor. It was done by a UK team. I'm going to hazard a guess. It was primarily designed for 50 Hertz now. And bearing in mind that the evidence from what we've seen, this actually runs faster at 50 Hertz on the Saturn than.
Your mission was a glorious victory.
than the 3DO. This runs faster at 50 than the 3DO version did, which would lead us to believe this was probably actually optimized, because at 60 Hz it does run very fast. Well, the screen doesn't appear to have been optimized.
The archive record viewer shows a warp drive in the next sector. Brothers, our mission may soon be complete. I am sending in a further squad to assist your progress. Regroup on the far side of this sector. We are their doom.
Here are your objectives. All surviving Terminators must exit via this point. At least 2 power field generators must be retrieved. Gabriel, move to this point. Gabriel, move to this point. Gabriel, watch this direction. Gabriel, await further instructions.
Hi Sega Saturn, thanks for joining us. It was always nice to have people on the screen. Yes, it is actually a very good, intense game, Space Hulk, and the board game's fantastic, and this is just the perfect adaptation. Arguably, this may even be, to some people, probably prefer this to the board game. It is a very intense game. You really do have to master the close combat in this. Unfortunately, it's been some time since I played it, so I'm a little bit off with my timing with the parry attacks. You have to use B to parry and A to attack, but sometimes I think you have to use...
Await further instructions.
Someone's telling me to await further instructions. Now, X brings up a suspension order, so basically that blue bar at the bottom, if you bring up the X menu, will effectively pause the game. Once the X menu runs out,
This area. Cover your back.
then it will go into real time. Now, in this story mode, you are only the one character, so although you can order your team round, if your primary character dies, that's it. It's instant game over, you don't have to retry. And as always, guys, if you like the stream, please do hit that like button. We do appreciate it very much.
Brothers, victory is at hand. We have encountered and smashed many foes. Push forward and progress to the warp drive. May the blessings of the Eternal Emperor fall upon us.
It's not a perfect adaptation of the original sort of 3DO version, but you're not getting that much. You don't lose too much. The only thing that's really annoying is the fact you can't equip your Terminator gear. So it's not the best version, but it's still a solid version of the game. It's annoying is they should have really... There's no reason why this shouldn't have been a perfect
Seal these
port.
doors. Power field generators must be positioned at these points. All surviving Terminators must exit via this point.
And here's the part where we get a sort of marching slowly and steady out.
Gabriel, seal this door.
As your Terminators all sit in. Come on, move, guys. Move out the way.
I can smell that. Lioness's bolter's jammed.
Now, your bolters, just like you can put your guys into Overwatch,
Objective met.
and their bolters can jam.
Gabriel, withdraw to this area.
So gene stealers do rip through doors as well. You have got to keep attention of that.
Gabriel, move to this area. Cover your back.
Yeah, I think that's my main experience of playing a 3DO was in various shops when they had them. Back in the day when you used to get shop stands with the games on them.
There's a lot of movement up. Gabriel, stand to your right. Gabriel, advance to this room.
Even now, this is still a very atmospheric game. There's no music as such, you just get the sound effects of sort of groaning of the environment. It's still got a certain intensity to it. You can hear the ship creaking and just moaning away as you...
What was that? Objective met. Gabriel, close this door.
It's still relatively cheap to pick up, so if you if you fancy picking this up, it's actually very cheap and reasonable to buy.
Gabriel, proceed to this area.
And it still plays very well. Although I think probably the PC version is probably the best version, but unfortunately, although there are a number of newer games called Space Hulk, and there's a newer version of the board game,
Coming your way.
all the video games based on it don't use this engine. This engine was just superb. Who are we waiting for?
Gabriel, hold this point. Proceed with care, brothers. They are contained.
Okay, what am I waiting for, guys? We're all in the exit area. Is anyone left? Yeah, if you press R and X, you can turn this into a real-time overview. So X pauses it, and that blue bar that you see at the bottom, as that decreases it,
There's no end to them.
that indicates your timer suspension. So basically, if you activate that, bar will steadily decrease, and while it's decreased, you won't have to fight. While it's active, you won't have to shoot. The whole game
Wary.
will remain paused.
Keep alert, brothers. Lucius, they're coming your way.
Not a timed mission. We haven't got 3. Just gonna quick check. Experience. Oh, that's my experience promotion.
Gabriel, hold position.
Let's give that a quick.
It's coming your way. They are contained.
I have a feeling it has glitched on me. So all the terminators are here. We should.
All's quiet at the moment. Lioness! Saffron. Gabriel. Gabriel, hold this point. Gabriel, hold this point.
Yeah, I think this one's.
You have quit your mission.
I think that one has gone belly up on me, so to speak. Because it should have ended there when we got to the thing. I wonder if it was waiting for one of the Terminators that got killed in the opening campaign. Select a mission. Okay, I'll skip ahead a mission or two to the mission which is relatively early on, where you actually fight the Chaos Space Marines, and this is where things get much harder. You're
Brothers, there is no clear way forward. We have little chance of success.
You're basically assigned a
Delvar
random
3
Space
seems
Marine
doomed.
at the start, so whenever you start a
Scanners
new
indicate the
campaign, you'll be
presence
given
of
one of,
several
I think there's
Imperial
about
relics in the adjoining
15
sector.
or so named Space
If
Marines,
we are
and you'll be
destined
given
to
one of
fail
them.
in saving Delvar 3, then we can recover some glory by retrieving the relics. But be wary. History dictates that they will be guarded by many traps and terrible foes. We shall be avenged.
So this is where things get a bit more intense, as I'm going to be battling Chaos Space Marines. This is one of the hardest missions in the game, and it's only about the 5th or 6th mission in. So basically I've just received my Sergeant Command. It's about, so that mission we got the game...
Here are your objectives. All surviving Terminators must exit by this point. At least 3 relics must be retrieved.
Now, up in front of me, that is a mine, and I need to get rid of it.
Getting closer. There's no way to move. I can.
And that's what I mean, like, this is the hardest mission. Those guys take an absolute pounding to beat. I'm sure the Stormbolt has a burst attack as well, but I can't remember what it was. Now, the load times are probably one of the sort of more gripey bits about this. So rather than get myself killed, I'll send my dudes out.
Here are your objectives.
So we've got to get a number of relics. It's just actually this opening section when you first come in, actually getting.
We must prevail.
I'm actually going to try and shoot the door open so that way, yeah, we can shoot down it.
The enemy are ahead. They're coming for me. Lucius, to your right. Matthias,
Okay, I'll send ma.
advance to this room. Matt, get Marcus. Proceed, Lucius.
Send two of my chaps as they can auto burst. Okay, now they've got.
Matthias,
I'll move Matthews up to there.
proceed to this area. Get Marcus. Lucius,
Got to check this area because
Matt, Gabriel. Proceed, Gideon.
And we'll put Gideon in the corner there, so that way we're covering all our bases.
Advance to this room.
So if any Chaos Space Marines suddenly crop out, we'll be able to shoot them to pieces. These are actually probably... so there are a couple of enemies. There's the Gene Stealer Mangus Patriarch, and then you've got the Chaos Space Marines. The Chaos Space Marines only actually appear... So much for my team covering me.
You have been killed.
That's the thing, the Chaos Space Marines will literally walk up to you and just go pow, despite the fact you're in Terminator armour. And this is not actually... I will say this is quite a tricky game. I have finished it, but it did... I remember it took me quite a while originally to finish it. It is a game where you need to consider every move tactically. So I'm just going to destroy them. Yeah, he got right on top of me and my squad were unable, despite the fact there was 3 of my guys in that room. I'm going to blow that door. Damn, we've got 2 of them in there at the minute. And don't turn up on the radar either. I'll send my guys in because they can...
Proceed to this area. Advance to this room. Lucius, get out of my way.
Let's get the other chaps. Get Matthias up. Let's put him in there.
Move to this point. Matthias! Gabriel. Proceed to this area. Gabriel. Gideon.
Gideon there.
Advance to this room. Matthias! Gideon. Marcus.
And let's put Marcus here.
Proceed to this area.
Now, I do like to go collecting the stuff all myself, but ideally you should actually send your whole team out to scout.
Can you hear? Overwatch. There's your land.
Damn it, I got killed again.
You have been killed.
Okay, I'll try it one last time, the Chaos Space Marine stage. And this time I'll send my chaps out to do most of the grunt work. Unfortunately, you don't have a flamer or anything, so... But yeah, they seem to get the advantage on you, the Chaos Space Marines. They just take an absolute pounding number of shots. Despite the fact you're in... they should be take a lot less damage based on the difference between power armor and Terminator armor that they're in if you've ever played Warhammer 40,000. Although my preferred version of Warhammer 40,000 is still second edition. Now, one thing they didn't do is change the calls, so he's just called the Chaos Space Marine so fast, despite the fact they are not. He's referring to the. That's really a call for the Gene Stealers. Let my guys do bursting. Let's send Gabriel forward.
Proceed to this area.
Let's send Matthias to there.
Advance to this room. Gideon.
And let's put Gideon there.
Proceed to this area. Gideon. Marcus.
And I'll just send Marcus. Actually, I'll put Marcus up there.
Advance to this room.
So now you do have unlimited ammo in this, and I should say there are a lot of modern Space Hulk games these days, but they are very different in terms of how they play too.
Gabriel. Gideon. Marcus.
Let's send Marcus up there.
Move to this point.
So let's get Gabriel to... Actually, I should get into scan.
Search this area.
Now these chaos doors are a bit of a pain, so I'll basically blow them open, unlike most of the ones you see.
The enemy are ahead. Marcus's filter is jammed. Advance to this room.
No, I don't want to advance to that room.
Mafia. Gabriel. Gideon. Marcus. Proceed to this area. Gabriel.
Let's put Gabriel in here as well.
Proceed to this area. Mafia.
I shall send up Matthias to come up with me.
Advance to this room.
So basically you want to stick together on this one. We're looking for 3 relics.
Overwatch. Mafia.
I'll put Matthias down there now.
To this room.
What I'm looking for is 3 scroll-like items hidden around on the ground. That's what it's refers to by the relics.
Mafia. Gabriel. Proceed to this area. Gabriel. Marcus. Advance to this room. Gabriel. Gideon.
And I'll send Gideon up to back them up as well.
Proceed to this area.
Can get shot in the back by a Chaos Marine. Ah, we got him. So yes, the advantage of moving your guys together really is a huge blessing.
Vengeance shall be ours.
So we've still got the whole squad. Now, you do heal up pretty rapidly. These were actually the Chaos Marines are actually the few times you can actually take damage from.
I need them. There's hundreds of them. Mafia.
I'm going to bring this other guy up here, Matthias up here as well.
This area.
Gideon up with me.
Advance to this room. Matthews has perished. Gabriel.
Get Gabriel up here.
Proceed to this area.
There's a mine down there.
Cover. This is for Matthew. Lucius, they are my dead. Advance to this room. Marcus.
Okay, let's get Marcus up here. I'm getting slightly alarmed as you see these guys are absolutely whooping. And this is a big stage as well. We're looking for those relics. We haven't found them.
Gideon.
Should say the Chaos Space Marines in this do resemble Nurgle, so...
Must prevail.
Oh, come on.
There's no end.
Gotcha.
I'm under fire. Move to this. Gabriel.
Gabriel in there.
Advance to the Marcus. Advance to this room. Overwatch. Lucius, and to your right.
And we're still looking and investigating for... Don't think I can blow up these doors. No, those spawn doors you can't blow up.
I can't open this door.
Oh, is that one of the relics he's standing on? Yes, that's one of the relics. We've got one. Now to find the others. Basically, relics won't appear on the map until you stand on them.
Proceed with care, brothers. Curses, my bolter's jammed.
Ironically, this is the first mission you get when you're a sergeant. I always remember this was one of the hardest missions in the game.
The door won't open. My weapon's jammed.
Because you're constantly having to shoot them, and of course your weapons jam. Your weapon will turn red when it has jammed. Just give you an idea how big this map is as well. We need 3 relics, so I've got the 2 guys up there.
Honor the throne, brothers.
Yeah, this...
Quiet.
Oh, I probably stepped on a mine.
You have been killed.
The only plus thing is once you know where the things are, you'll... it's fairly easy. So I think that's probably enough of the story campaign. I'll jump into a couple more of the archive missions. against Jesus. Strangely, that is the only mission in the game against Chaos Space Marines, and that's your first mission when you reach Sergeant, and that's probably one of the hardest missions in the game. Once you've cleared that one, everything else is sort of easiest. Even so, there are actually 4 main enemies in this. You get the Gene Stealers, you get the Chaos Space Marines, you get Gene Stealer Magnus, who's a Psyker. I think you only fight 1 or 2 of them, and then you get the Patriarch, and the Patriarch's like a fat Gene Stealer on a throne, and he's really easy to beat. So let's try one of the.
Here are your objectives. Purge these points with flame.
Now the library is a really good way to train up, on top of the fact there's so many missions. So once you do the training missions in the library, and then once you've done, then you do the campaign, then you can come back and do some of the historical missions. They sort of range in difficulty. Some are so in this one I need to be. The first problem you've got is your flamer is actually the second guy in, so you need to get him covered pretty quickly. On top of the fact, so basically that's primarily what flamers are used for. You're meant to cover. So what I need to do is flame these rooms. Parry. Oh, mission over. Yep, I only get 1 flamer. Try that again. But you got to flame those rooms in this one. There's actually this basically a straight objective from the board game. We literally have to go and flame certain rooms, and then. But sadly, we only have the 1 flamer. And annoyingly, he's in an awkward position in that he's the second Terminator in. Ideally, you want the flamer to be one of the last ones, or the sort of mid ones, so that we got at least 2 Terminators to go before him. As always, guys, if you're liking the streams, please do hit the like button. But as you can see, it's still a very atmospheric game. Oh, that's not a good start. That's really not a good start. I even flamed. That's one of the things with this. So that
All Terminator flamers have been killed.
you see, despite the fact that we flamed the area, the Gene Stealers were running through it. Which they can't do in the board game, so that's obviously a bit of a bug. I mean, it's a really great board game, and if as and when Workshop have it available, I do always recommend picking it up, as I believe they all stick to the core rules largely. The newer versions, they had more patriarchs, and the original game, I remember, came with a couple of expansions and was. And this is what I mean. You've got to be real. So basically, your flamer, because he's one of the first ones out. So there, the flames are working this time. So let's get. I've got to get. Really got to get him to flame the corner. It doesn't matter where I flame this room, just as long as he flames part of this room and doesn't kill himself in the flaming process. But yes, that's what happens when your strategies go wrong. I probably should avoid fighting close combat at the minute because I'm still a bit rusty and don't know the timings. You have to basically know when to parry with the. Although I seem to remember B supposedly is purely parry. I have a feeling A was also partly parry if they were striking on the right side. Depending which ones you do. It's like basically it was almost like a game of boxing. Once you got good at it, you could basically make it so that you could parry every single attack the Gene Stealers threw at you. Again, should have done the low parry there. Same one. Did the straight reach. You've got to know which of the reaching strikes to do. Okay, I'll jump into another mission. that one's you're going to have to basically get a good start where you need to make sure your first Terminator. Well, no, I'll give it one last shot, and this time I will put the first Terminator in auto, and I will have the flamethrower guy shoot a thing so that way it just covers the square for a moment so I can at least deploy the other Terminators. Because basically the trouble is the flamer guy's in a bad position at the start.
We must. Lucius, they're to your left. Matthias!
So I'll quickly park him down here. Quickly, let's get Raphael here.
Move to this point.
Oh, this is the problem. You've got to be a little.
Move to this point.
So I'll
Lucius,
get Matthias to go down here. Hopefully, I won't get any of the Gene Stealers come at me. Okay, quickly flame this room, and then I'm very quickly going to order Nathan.
advance to this room. Pluvius. Proceed to this area. Lucius. Move to this point. Raphael. Move to this point. Nathaniel. Matthias! Vengeance shall be ours! What was Nathaniel? Pluvius. Lucius. Matthias. I can feel them. Yes.
So just like the original board game, your guns could jam, and again you get the Overwatch. So what my aim here now is to basically lock down these areas. So now I've got Lucius. Okay, hi Sega. What consoles have you played most? I think I've mainly been doing the GameCube actually, along with not too much Saturn, mainly the GameCube because we reviewed the thingy products. I've been doing that. I've also been playing a bit of the PlayStation 2 as well, a bit of PC. Mainly though, I will admit, I do tend to still, I generally, although we don't video much at the minute, I have been playing a lot of the PlayStation 4. So, although our channel is primarily retro stuff at the minute, we should do some more PS4 stuff as I do play a lot of PlayStation 4 games. So, but I think if you're asking on a retro front at the minute, probably the GameCube because of the HDMI adapter, which has certainly improved the quality of HDMI. So I've got Nathaniel there. I'll put Polvius. Actually, I'll leave him there for now. Actually, I'll move Lucius forward. Let's move Raphael forward. Nathaniel, let's get Nathaniel forward as well. Okay, so now I've got the perimeter under control. I can flame the last two rooms. But yeah, probably the PlayStation 4 modern wise, probably retro the GameCube. I'm playing a bit handheld wise.
Objective met.
That's one room flamed. Shouldn't really flame my Terminators, but it shows you the power attached. So as soon as I flame, flame should win the round, and that's all you got to do. It's basically Space Hulk. It's all about control and the perimeter. So although I had a bit of a rough start with the close combat, once you get it right,
All mission objectives met.
and there we go, mission complete. So there we go, no Terminators killed, 43 Steelers killed, 2 minutes 51. So that's how you do missions properly. Let's see which camp. Annoyingly, it doesn't. Yes, that was a close mission, but we did it in the end. Yeah, it was. I certainly recommend the GameCube HDMI adapter we reviewed. It was a very good product. I don't know whether they've got more in stock on Amazon, so another one, the classic missions. I do wonder if these classic missions are taken from the originals. Perimeter. Let's have a quick go at the perimeter. I'm probably going to finish it in a few minutes. In fact, I will. Let's tech support. Let's try this one. I'll give this one a go before I wrap up. But yes, certainly the PS4. I haven't actually played the Mega Drive that much of late. We do have a Japanese Mega Drive, but it's been sitting locked up at the minute. I've not really had a chance to play it that much. There's quite a lot of Japanese Mega Drive games I want to get, but everywhere seems to have them really expensive at the minute, so and I've just realised some of my hair is caught in my headphones. That is slightly annoying. Excuse me a second, guys. I will jump into one last mission in a sec. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I think the thing with the GameCube HDMI adapter is it allows you to get progressive scan out of the console without owning a component lead.
Close these doors. 4 Terminators must exit via these points.
So you've got to close these doors and 4 Terminators must exit via these points.
Here are your objectives. Seal these doors. 4 Terminators must advance to these points.
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting one. You can only lose 1 Terminator, I think, or do you only have 4 Terminators? You can seal 2 doors, but one of the doors you have to seal. You need your Terminators already in place when you seal it.
Keep alert, brothers.
So what weapons I got?
Lucius.
I think partly your
Now they die.
You've had issues with your open source scan converter? Yeah, if you probably have issues with the open source, you may have issues with that device. Okay, so definitely I think I need to get my terminators upgraded as well. So let's get Lucius.
Move to this point. Matthias!
Let's get Matthias up there as well.
Move to this point. Raphael.
Let's move Raphael. Oh, this is nasty.
Move to this point. Nathaniel.
Alright, let's move Nathaniel to there for now.
Advance to this room. Pluvius.
I'll take manual control of Pluvius. I'll get him to shut the door and then basically walk to the last. And here's the part I've got to hope everyone survives.
Gotcha.
So it's a very methodical game. Interesting handle, a Sega Saturn Z.
Objective met.
Okay, we've done that one. It's now just a case of getting Nathaniel to... So that's actually not... This is the thing with the difficulty in the missions. It does vary wildly between them. As you saw the Chaos Space Marine mission. The Chaos Space Marines are some of the nastiest...
All mission objectives met.
Hi Carrot TV, thanks for joining the stream. We're doing fine here at Randomised Gaming. Always appreciate people coming on for the stream for repeat views. Thanks for joining, guys. It's always nice to have people come back. Actually, I'll do one or two more things. We've got a few people on the stream tonight. Again, guys, if you enjoy our content, please do hit the like button. I appreciate some of you may not have seen this game before, so if you like our content, then always do. That's one slight annoying, the fact it throws you out to the menus. Oh, that reminds me, I should actually just...
Here are your objectives. Power field generators must be placed at these points. Conrad must move to this area.
Okay, yes, this is a tough campaign. You've got to basically... You're one Terminator on your own, so you've really got to... let's give this one a whirl. See how good my skills are. I really do wish this got a re-release. I don't think it's available. So, I know there are a number of Space Out games, but this one, with this and the original game, it would be great to get a re-release or a double pack, something. I know EA have partly owned the rights, and Games Workshop, of course, have done many other Space Out games. We did actually have a quick go on the new one on PS4 earlier today. I wasn't overly impressed with it. It's like a live action thing. I don't think it doesn't... This captures the atmosphere of the game so well.
Here are your objectives. Power field generators must be placed at these points. Conrad must exit via this point.
Okay, now this is what I do hate. The fact you've got to find your power field generators before you can place them. So I'm probably going to die horribly in this mission as it's a solo one. But we'll give it a whirl. Oh, so there's one power field generator. The Gene Seekers, of course, go down a lot more easy than the Chaos Space Marines.
Let the slaughter commence.
They do like to hide as well, so there's definitely an element of cunning to them. Come on, parry! Parry!
You have been killed.
I'll give it a quick second shot. But I won't try too much. Now, just so you guys are aware, as I mentioned on the community page. I will be taking a break from the streams next week. I'm taking a bit of time off. There will still be some updates on the channel, but we won't be doing streams. Or I won't be doing streams, to be exact. So yeah, it's a bit annoying these things are just hidden around the place. I think you need to be right on top of them to find them as well, so... Go straight in front of me. Let's do... So, although I can order my little dude around as well.
Proceed to this area.
And that's me.
Objective met.
If I want to be lazy and don't want to fight people, Gene Stealers, I can literally order them around. Literally order my little dude around, so that way...
Advance to this room.
And he will automatically respond as well. Especially on the Overwatch map. I need to pay attention because I need to find where those relays are. Because then they're literally going to pop up.
They are contained.
Only partly, we need the other two.
Die, evil. Come out and fight. Come out and fight to the Emperor.
So it's a bit annoying him to go around and hunt for these. But you got to go, oh yeah, you got to collect these power relays. He won't give you any. You have to scavenge them from the mission. That's fine. Thanks. Carrot TV is always just appreciated just you coming in to say hi. We do welcome our viewers just saying hi. It's always nice to just chat to people as well. And if you just want a quick... Oh yes, just in time. Right, so that's a second one.
Come out and fight.
Parry, parry. Right, here's what I don't want one of them to...
Objective met.
So we've got down through... It's just a case of finding the third. Yeah, no, it's always nice to have people coming in. If you can only come in for 5 minutes on the stream, we always welcome you. And it's always nice to see you guys enjoying your games that we're showcasing. So I'm just going to see if I can try and find... So I've got to try and find this last teleport relay.
Our casualties are low.
Yes, our casualties... The voice calls are a little bit funky at times.
To the Emperor.
Our casualties will be low, as I am the only Terminator in this mission, so...
They are contained.
Here's the annoying part. I've got to look for that last relay, so it could be anywhere. It could be right at the start. Could have literally walked over it a few times. Could be tucked away in the corner here. Oh, where is it? Where is it? Is it in the middle of the map? Is it at the end of the map?
They know fear. To battle.
I would recommend this as a very good game, but it is one you need to be this has got to be you've got to be prepared for a bit of difficulty. It's certainly not the easiest game.
Let the slaughter come in.
But there's a lot of content, so many missions, and the whole campaign. Okay, night Sega. I appreciate it's probably getting late for most of you, so I'll probably finish myself. We do get some US. I think we don't get that many US guys at the minute, so one of the reasons I actually picked this slightly later time. But I will consider doing a slightly earlier one, perhaps. Oh. Where is that? We need that fusion relay. Without it, we're going to be...
Onward for the honor of the Blood Angels.
That one came a bit close. Did I miss it? Is there one like in here? It's the case. It really would help if this was on the map.
Tempestium. Fight and die.
Right, I've got it. Is it over there? Where is that? So it's got to be here somewhere. Oh, just.
Fear not evil. Honor is at stake.
Finally, that's where it was, tucked in the corner there. Now let's just hope I don't get killed on the way to actually getting it. So we've got another, probably got at least one other gene stealer before we go. Yep, we've got a gene stealer out. Oh! Oh, so annoying. The last one as well. Ah, so annoying. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, seeing so many of you come and gone, I will finish there. That's really irritating me, that mission. Thank you for watching, everyone. I have been your host, Random Gamer Riven. Thank you for joining the stream today. As always, I will wish you a good night, a good evening, a good afternoon, or a good morning, wherever you are in the world. This has been Space Hulk Vengeance of the Blood Angel, which, as I mentioned, was the sequel to the original 1993 Space Hulk. I really do wish Electronic Arts and Games Workshop would team up to re-release both of these in some sort of collection, as I just prefer these as a game to the previous Space Hulk. Certainly they need to look at the versions of Space Hulk, though I think probably the PC version with a few mods on would probably be best advised. Or they could even try and update the engine a little and do a slightly more modern engine version with 3D. That is everything I'm going to say there. Great game. If you've got a Saturn, PS1, 3DO, definitely the 3DO, the essential 3DO game, or an old PC, and you can play. It's probably DOSBox, I imagine, plays it. I would highly recommend it. Anyway, that's it for now. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's available on any modern systems at present, or there's even any sort of good old games or Steam release. There are plenty of other Games Workshop Space Hulk games available, though, so if you can't get these ones, you can always get a more modern one. There are lots of games based on Space Hulk. But that's it. I'll wish you a good night, everyone, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's stream.